Hello, this is Shooter. Today I'll be painting the Altmer and the Nord from the board game Skyrim the Adventure game. I'm going to be using colours from my collection of Army Painter speed paints and the scale of 75 instant colours and scale colours. I will try to give a brief explanation of my experience with each paint and how I use them. Continuing from the first video in this series, the goal is to keep it simple, painting the minis to look decent on the tabletop while resembling the in-game artwork. Now onto the painting. I started off by painting the skin areas with Crusader skin. This is where I had my first mistake. Because these minis were primed using the zenithal technique, the face was very dark, and due to the nature of speed paints and their transparency, Crusader skin just looked too dark in the shadow areas. To try fixing this, I painted the skin areas on both minis with golden skin. Being impatient though, I tried painting it before the Crusader skin had time to dry. Unlike regular paints, speed paints really need to be dry before they are painted over, or they seem to lift as more layers are applied. For a simple fix, what I should have done is just let the paint dry. Hit the face with a dry brush of white to bring out the dark bits, and then paint them with Crusader skin. It was too late by the time I realised this though, and there was already a messy coat of golden skin. I gave both minis time to dry, then did a second coat of the golden skin. This is one of the key differences between regular miniature paints and the speed paints, where the regular miniature paints need to be put down in more than one coat to get good coverage. With the speed paints, they only need one coat if the primer is good. Take these War Machine minis for example. They were painted with regular mini paints. Depending on the colour, you might need multiple coats to get a nice even base layer. You also need to paint in the shadows and highlights. All of this adds a lot more time to the process. While I think the quality of the finished model is better, it also took many hours to complete. This isn't the finish I'm looking for with the board game minis. They are going to spend the majority of their time inside the box and not on the display shelf. After the second coat of golden skin, I applied a layer of Crusader skin, this time to create some shadows and midtones. Then I highlight the skin with a touch of golden skin. All these additional steps add a lot more time to the painting process. Next time I will try dry brushing the skin areas white before applying the speed paint skin tones. Now that the skin is done, back to the speed paints for the leather armor, bags and straps. Most of these speed paints are designed to pull in the crevices. This creates a darker tone for shadows, and they are thin on the raised areas to create highlights. Usually all of this with only one coat. The disadvantage is that on larger surfaces, to get the paint to pool in correct places, it requires some manipulation with the brush. And even then you have a lot less control than actually painting in the shadows and highlights with regular paint. Here I am using dark wood for some of the leather details, like belts, straps and the sword sheath. Being darker, this helps differentiate those leather layers from the tunics, boots and armor straps. I have a habit of wiping excess paint off the brush onto my thumb. It's a convenient way to test the paint's flow before I apply it to the mini. It will wash off with some light scrubbing later. Now I am using the Spectral Wolf Instant Color for the fur on the Nord skirt. One difference I have found is that these instant colors need at least 2 coats to get a good contrast, and you can keep layering to add more. I want the fur that is folded over to be a lighter shade, so I paint it with the white before I layer a second coat of Spectral Wolf to the furs. The armor plates, sword and shield are all painted with broadsword silver. This really does make painting metallic simple and is great for this style of mini. The finish will never be as good as techniques like non-metallic metal or true metallic metal, but it doesn't need to be. It's quick and simple. And with these minis, that's what I'm looking for. Now that the furs have had time to dry while I painted the metallics, I do the second layer of Spectral Wolf. Hoplite gold is used to detail the belt buckles, sword hilts and pommels. The Nord's hair was painted with werewolf brown and the Altmer's grim black. I finished off these minis by painting the rim of the base with flat black, then the base itself with Gravelord grey. For the final touch, Hoplite gold and shamrock green were used to pick out the chalice and the bottle on the Altmer's base. And they are done. Mistakes were made, and while the resulting fix isn't the best, added a lot of extra time to the process, I'm happy with the final result. They resemble the in-game artwork and they are more fun than grey plastic. Hopefully my mistake can help others. I know that I have learnt from them, and next time I will try dry brushing the faces with white first. We'll see how that turns out. Thanks for watching.